Hello everyone, welcome to my Nikon Z6 Mark II rig setup video. Now this also works for the Z6, the Z6ii, the Z7 and the Z7 II. Basically speaking, they're very similar camera bodies with exactly the same dimensions. So what works for this rig will work for all the others. In this video I'll be showing how I built the rig, starting with the camera cage itself. Camera cage is the backbone of your rig, so you need to pick a good one. The one I went for here is the SmallRig model number 2824. It's an incredibly solid camera cage. The camera fits beautifully inside in it with a single locking point. There's 4 rubber pads that can hold it in place and an anti-twist pin too as well. So there's no wiggle, it feels really good in the hand and it's just a solid camera cage. The other advantage is it has 2 NATO rails built in. So you have a top NATO rail and a side NATO rail. So the left hand side NATO rail is on the left hand side of the camera cage, obviously enough. So I'm going to use a left hand side handle. And the model I'm going to use here is the SmallRig wooden left hand side handle. This fits on so easily. Simply slide it into place, pop up the locking lever. That's it, you're done. To release it, just pull down the locking lever, slide it off and away you go. Incredibly easy to use and I cannot recommend it enough. The NATO rails on these cages are an absolute must-have. The next part we're going to pop on here now is a SmallRig follow focus unit, model F40 or model number 3010, whichever you choose to call it. So basically it just mounts onto the side bracket via 2 hex screws, and you can use an Allen key or a hex key, whatever you like to call it. So once the 2 hex screws are on, just pop the camera back down along again, pick up your left side handle, there's a little locking lever there, pop that in, slide the handle down, pull up your locking lever again, and that's it, you're done. So all I'm going to do now is just position the follow focus unit just so it's just about right. I like using both. I set it up for both because you can use your 4 fingers to turn the follow focus quite easily. If you need to use your full hand and if you're going to use a full rotation of the follow focus unit, you can simply just slide off the left hand side handle and use it that way. But if you're kind of running and gunning or whatever else, I like using it from this point of view. It's set up for every possibility, I suppose you'd say. So the follow focus system is incredibly handy. If you've never used the follow focus system before, briefly what it's going to do for you is you can actually manually adjust the focus. And as I say, with the SmallRig one, you also have the possibility of using the NATO rail too as well, which is built into it. So NATO rails are incredibly handy because you can just pop on and off accessories. But the advantage of follow focus is that you can actually set your A/B stops. So in other words, if you're in a situation, let's say where there's 2 people having a conversation, and if you want to rapidly pull focus exactly from one to the other and back again, consistently and perfectly without any focus humping or anything along those lines, what you can do is you can actually loosen out your 2 A/B points, these 2 markers here. You can set your focus so it's just, you can check your monitor and focus peaking and whatnot and see that it's actually just perfect. Move the stop up, twist it in place, and what I love about this unit is you can move this out of the way so you can actually twist it in place completely. Pop it back down along again, then pull back until you find your second stop point. We'll say it's there, and I just twist the B stop in place then. So now I actually have 2 hard stops positioned so I can quickly flick from one to the other with absolutely perfect precision. So it's person A, person B, person A, person B. And the other really handy point about the SmallRig follow focus system is, let's say if you're shooting a scene and if one person gets up, for argument's sake, to go to the kitchen to get something, and if you want to follow them out of the room, you have your point A and point B set, so you're flicking between the 2 of those. But you can actually just pop up the hard stop and you have full focus control again. And then when you're back in your scene again, and let's say 2 people sitting down in the same spot, you can just pop it back down along again and focus pull from one to the other. I don't know what else to say other than I absolutely love it, and it's a beautiful bit of kit. It's only about $99 I think, and absolutely worth its weight in gold, unlike it. And the other beauty with all those systems is that you can actually just very, very easily pop it out of the way, use manual focus, and then when you need to go back and use autofocus, then pop it back on along again and set it back to the follow focus system again. And as I say, the other advantage of it is the fact that the NATO rail is built in. You can quickly just slide on a left side handle if you want. And I usually use both of these at the same time because you can actually still use your focus with your forefingers. So it's incredibly handy. It's a very versatile system. So next we're just going to screw on the ring adapter for the matte box. Once that's on, we just pop the matte box into position, and with a large thumb locking screw we just tighten it in place. That's it. So as you can see now, the rig is more or less set up. We've our camera cage, we've our follow focus unit, we've our left side handle, which is giving us a bit of width and a bit more control. Now we've the awesome matte box. That's going to give us the possibilities of using the top flag or the French flag, whatever you like to call it, and also ND filters. ND filters are fantastic for controlling the light going into your camera, so you can use shallower depth of fields if you want, and use the correct shutter speed too as well. So why would you use a matte box? You use a matte box for two reasons. The first of which being is gives you the possibility of using ND filters, diffusion filters, or graduated filters on your camera rig. The second thing being is you can actually use the top flag or the French flag to reduce unwanted flare on your lens. The third thing is it also looks really cool. Now you shouldn't be buying it for that, but for $99 it really adds an awful lot of punch to your gear. So if you really want a very professional looking rig setup, the SmallRig Matte Box for $99 is incredible value for money. The final bit of the gear then, obviously enough, is our monitor. So I'm just going to slide that into the cold shoe, tighten up the locking nut, and that's it. That's our rig. That's it finished. Takes a couple of minutes. Also incredibly easy to unpack, pop back into your camera bag, and away you go. So just getting back to the complete rig setup. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask them down below in the comments. I'm going to go through a complete rig setup, one of these, an in-depth, detailed video on every single part of this and talk you through it. So if you'd like to see that, let me know too as well. Other than that, see you out there.